spring. Winter edition. Trying to adjust my camera so that I put it on stand. Should have done that first, and I apologize. But to the official winter season of Anime in a Mug. I have my mug here, and the show roster is a little bit tinier this season. I actually had a lot more shows I was gonna watch, but I just didn't. Like literally, I just didn't watch them. For whatever reason, whether it's because I just didn't feel like it, or because I realized I don't want to watch this show. I just didn't get to some of them. I believe there's at least one show that I watched that is not in the lineup. I think. I can't think of what it is right now, but we shall go through all of them. And starting with that one is not out. The first one we pull is the one that wasn't out. Oh my god. So I pulled Bang Brave on first, and it's not even out. So what's Sengeki Yoka? Did I? Actually, this might be another one I didn't watch. I don't think I watched that one. Okay, so Sasakito Peeps is the story of a young man who is really depressed, and he decides one day he needs a companion, so he goes to a pet shop, and he goes into the pet, and he he adopts a bird, and it turns out that the bird is a reincarnated sorcerer from another world. Now that sounds interesting. Problem is, that is about 10 minutes of plot, and the rest of it is just nothing. It's a show that could work going forward, but I feel like I kind of lost interest in it already. Art's okay. Art is not anything spectacular, but I'll reserve for another few episodes. But it was a double length premiere. I hate double length premieres. I gotta tell y'all, they can work if there's a lot to unpack, but 9 times out of 10, the problem with double length premieres, you know, the problem with double length premieres is that 9 times out of 10, they don't, they're just padding mostly. So most shows that are double length premieres are double length because the show. I don't know. Well, especially with this one, because 90% of it, I ended up skipping at least half of it. And it was very boring, which is sad, because this kind of show, boring is not the word I should describe for this show. Let me see what's next. Momochi Sanshi. So basically, this is Fruits Basket had sex with God, what was that one? The Kiss, Kami-sama Kiss, I think it is. So basically, the main character, whose name I now can't remember, but she goes to she finds this house who she inherits, and she goes to them, and she gets there, and she tells them she's the owner, and they're like, nope, get out. We don't want you here. You shouldn't be here. Fuck off, leave. And she's like, but I'm the owner. I own this house. And they're like, nope, leave, get out. We don't want you here. And it's 3 brothers. Basically, they are there to protect their house from spiritual beings, because there's a lot of yokai and supernatural creatures in the house, and she is just not supposed to be there. The house is going to try and ward her off, an interesting premise. It's pretty art, but I have a feeling it's basically just going to be like I said, I have a feeling it's basically just going to be Fruits Basket, get get Dia Lovers and Kami-sama Kiss in this, especially since the main, well, I don't call him the love interest, but let's be honest, he's going to be the love interest. He is. His design looks like the main character in male lead from Kami-sama Kiss, basically. Also, and Shinosuke Tachibana is in this show, although he's a different character, which is completely hilarious. But yeah, so it's good, it's cute. They save her, and she starts doing stuff around the house, kind of like Toru. And I guess they just kind of just let her stay, which is really weird, but eh. So the next one, Isekai no Mofu. I actually don't remember anything about the show. I remember she gets isekai'd and she wants to pet fluffy things. It's a cute idea, but it feels like a show that would have worked a lot better as a short, because it's like 20 minutes of her wanting to pet at fluffy things. It's cute, but it did not hold my interest, which is sad because I wanted it to hold my interest. Because you know, when I put shows in the bucket in the mug, it's because I'm hoping they will hold my interest and I want to keep watching them. Ao no Exorcist season 3. Okay, so my big problem with this season, and for those of you who remember, Ao no Exorcist, twin brothers born to the devil, Yukio doesn't have powers, Rin has powers, is part demon. And now they're dealing with a group called the Illuminati. Of course they are. I like the story. The problem is the art. And I know it's going to sound weird. And I know it's going to sound awful. And I'm sorry I keep picking my nose. I apologize. It's a habit. I'm sorry. Rin looks fat. I feel so bad saying that because the art is the actual art, like the art style is gorgeous, and for characters like Shiemi, they look wonderful, but the male characters all look fat. They have like really weirdly big shoulders. For Bone it works because he's kind of supposed to be very muscular and a brick house anyway, but for everybody else it's so weird how like all the male characters look like pudgy and with big shoulders. I don't think these people know how to draw male characters. It's really weird. But other than that, the story's good. Rin gets invited to dinner with Mephisto, and Mephisto is really weird and is like taunting him. Apparently it gets more plot-ish. Hi, how you doing? Please comment, hopefully, so I can see that at least you stuck around a little bit. But basically they are sent to a school or they're sent to a bathroom to exorcise a demon, and what's her name? Izumo has beef with Shiemi. I think it's more that she feels like every single time they get into trouble, Shiemi always ends up saving her, and she feels like she's not powerful enough. Or maybe it's that she tried to save one. I'm not sure, but we're gonna find more about that. Apparently there's a big plot twist later. Actually a couple that I'm not really looking forward to, because I don't really like them, but because I don't think they work narratively. But we'll get to that at some point. It's mostly just the art that looks really like really nitpicky I know I keep harping on this, and I'm sorry, but Ren just looks really husky and it's freaking weird. Like, like you've seen his character design previously. He looks bulky, and it's so weird. Um. Anyway, uh, Majo to Yaju is the story of two people, and they're basically hunting witches. I don't like the art. It's kind of flat, and it just doesn't work for me. The idea is interesting, but I think this is going to be mostly the season of shows where the only show I'm going to end up watching are Sasuke to Ian Pete, Momochi-san, and Honor Exorcist, because everything else, just the art just looks not good. So next is Ishura. Ishura, has a beautiful art, and it is the story. I thought it was going to be the story of a bunch of the historical figures fighting each other, but no, it's actually the story of a young woman being protected by a samurai who, or a swordsman who is fighting a bunch of like monstrous creatures. I kind of like it. Weirdly, I know there's not a lot of plot, but it looks really gorgeous, and I like characters that like this that are not exactly evil, but you know they're kind of malicious and insane. And like, I really, really like that style of character, especially Yuki Kaji, because he hasn't gotten to go full Venom in a long time. The last time was like Kurt Willis in 2017, and I miss characters like that. But he's not evil, which is I want evil characters like that, but this'll do, and this cast is stacked, so I'm gonna enjoy this show. The one thing I hope is that the girl gets to do something. I hope this isn't one of those shows where the main character just kind of bumbles around while the side character does everything and she just sits in the background. I don't like shows like that. So next one is Solo Leveling. Again, I don't think I watched it. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of shows that I ended up not watching. It's just that I know there's a lot of shows that I didn't end up watching. It's just because I'm actually trying to be more selective, especially considering that I also have my monthly shows to do. Like I have right now Inukami, which is weirdly dull despite being supposedly very fan servicey. Like it's supposed to be a lot of raunch, but it's not. It's weirdly boring. As is Rental Magica, although right now they're at a point where they're not that bad. So, because this is the month where I'm doing shows dedicated to Jun Fujiyama, who's like my favorite seiyuu ever. I should have done Code Geass this month. I will tell you right now, instead of doing it in November, I should have done it this month. But, because favorite anime character of all time. Still is, probably always will be. But, yeah. So, I need to make sure that I have enough time, because I'm also covering that, plus my podcast on my other channel, and probably trying to fit something for my third channel, which I'm going to start doing, which I need to start making content for. So I need to have enough time and not burn myself out doing that. So I'm limiting myself to 2 shows this month. Because last month I did like 5 or 6 shows, and it was a lot of shows. Again, what did I do? I did Slayers. I did Wow. I finished Natalia no Shoga. I finished Ashura Crayon, which was sucked. It was so bad. I had Strike the Blood, and I had something else. I don't remember what, but I had something else too. And so that was like 4 or 5 shows, and I realized I don't want to do that many shows in a month again. The top I will do is 3, because last month I didn't get the chance to do anything for the end of winter, so I basically ended up abandoning all of the fall shows. The fall shows weren't great anyway, but the fall shows weren't great anyway, but yeah, so I did not have a lot of time for that, and I blew myself up doing that. So I'm limiting the number of shows because I have to be able to fit everything. Loop 7, another show which I watched. Problem is, again, don't like the art. I think this is just going to be the season of shows where the art just sucks. So I'm gonna try Majo to Yaju again, and I'm gonna try Isekai to Mofu Mofu, but I think that's gonna be, no, that's not it. Let me see. Tsukimichi season 2. I wasn't even gonna watch this show, but I decided to give it another shot. It's basically the same thing as last season, because you remember Tsukimichi's main character gets isekai, and he ends up inviting a harem of monster girls. Although the interesting thing about this show is that he starts to develop a much darker personality, because he starts to fight back against the corruption in the city. I like that concept. It's just they really haven't done anything with it since last season, so it's more of just them chilling around. And I hope they do something with it, because I want them to do something with it, because I really like what they did at the end of last season. I didn't talk about the end of last season, but I want them to do more like they did at the end of last season. But also I'm probably gonna restart on Deadman Luck, because I just never got around to finishing it. I want to see that show. I just never got around to it, and Ayuma's in it, so that should be something. And Mashal season 2. So if you guys remember, Mashal is basically What If Harry Potter, but better. And Mash is born into a world where he has no powers, but he cannot tell people he has no powers. People with no powers are looked down upon. So he goes to a magic school, and he basically has to brute force everything, and it's really funny. And it's basically what I wanted One Punch Man to be, because One Punch Man got very boring. But this show is so funny, and he's put in front of the council, and they try to give him a punishment, but he basically just breaks the punishment. And we meet the Divine Visionaries this time, who are all the top magic students, who no doubt Mashal is going to trounce in his own special way, and it's really, really, really great. And finally, my favorite show of this season, Meiji Gekken 1874. I did not expect this to be my favorite show this year, let me tell you. It's a period piece. Don't like period pieces. But the art is nice. I like the main character. And I like the idea that the main character is a samurai who has to adapt to an age where samurais are no longer a thing. Well, he's a former samurai, and he's now a rickshaw driver, and he's looking for his missing fiance who disappeared, and he has to disappear. And meanwhile, there are hints of corruption. The political heads of the state are plotting against each other. There's an assassination attempt, but that's foiled by by another team. It's brutal, which is what I really like, because most of these shows I've seen so far have been very tame and very like unwilling to show blood. This shows heads coming off. This shows arms coming off. This shows people being stabbed in the chest. This shows actual, real bloodshed. And I think that's what draws me to this show more than anything else, is that it shows legitimate, real bloodshed. There's the only thing I realize is that I think the one girl they keep showing is his fiance, and she's clearly not an innocent party in any of this, but that we don't know yet. And God, is there anything else? I did watch The Right Way to Use Healing Magic, but I don't know if I'm going to include that, because it's okay, I guess. Most of the stuff this season, like I said, it just comes down to I'm not fond of the artwork. And you guys know me. You guys know that if I don't like the art, I'm turning it off. Because I think artwork is visually really important, because it's the first thing you see when you turn on a show. Before the actual show itself, before you watch an anime, you look at the character designs, you look at the poster, you look at what is going on in the show, and you see visually what it looks like. And if you don't like what it looks like visually, to me, I'm not interested. And I know a lot of people are going to argue this, because I think people will be like, oh, you can't have good writing. Yes, the writing's important, the story's important, but anime is also a visual medium. Anime is a medium that relies on good visuals, in my opinion. So I think it is extremely important to have a show that looks presentable. It doesn't have to look great. It doesn't even have to look great. It just has to look good. And if it doesn't look good, I'm not interested. Especially considering, like I said, I'm being more discerning. So I want people to pay attention to that. Is there anything else that I want to go over? Because I know these live streams are short. Alright, but they're short because nobody tunes in. So I don't necessarily want to make them drag out for over an hour, especially considering the few number of shows I'm actually watching this season. If there were more shows, and believe me, I'm still waiting for Bang Braver. But other than that, I don't want this to drag out. If more people start engaging, I'll probably start doing it. But I'm not gonna. I think that's it for this week. I honestly think that's it. So, there was something but I can't remember what it is. So I'm gonna come back to it. I'm gonna come back to it next week because I don't remember what it is.